All right. You're listening to Common Criminal Podcast. I am your host, Vince Polson. We're going to do things a little bit differently now as far as the way that the show goes. Instead of doing 5 episodes at a time and like doing them one after another, instead I think I'm just going to do one long episode, and it'll sort of have different segments in it. And, maybe at a later date, if there's parts that, if people are saying that they like a particular part, I might, edit it out and separate it and post it separately. So, that way if you'll have something to share with your friends or, something along those lines. But yeah, so, a little format change. Another thing, too, I'm going to start doing musical features on the show. So, I've got a few tracks over the next few episodes. It's going to be Keenan Rayner. And I'll be posting links in the description for each episode. So if you like what you hear, if you want to hear more from him, I'll make sure that you know how to find him on SoundCloud or Spotify, wherever he's streaming. All right, a couple other things too. The new logo, Liz went ahead and did that for me, thankfully. And I would like to maybe start featuring arts or anything like that. If anybody's got any photography they want me to put up, or I don't know if you got any artwork you're trying to sell, anything like that, I'll put it on the show. I'll post links for you. Sounds like something to be fun to do. I mean, it's basically a fucking slideshow otherwise. So, if you guys have something you want to see on there, maybe something you're trying to get rid of, let me know. That'd be kind of fun, right? Just, you can message me from the Facebook page, or my Instagram also has some info, so you can get in touch with me. But yeah, so other than that, let me see. Any other musical features as well for my band friends out there. I know a lot of people that make music. Hopefully other people that like music, maybe they'll find this also. So yeah, that'd be fun. I'm only going to put it on here if I like you, though. Like, if I like you and your music, like, it's something I genuinely enjoy, I'm not going to recommend shit to people that I don't like, really, really like. But yeah, I love local music, so show me what you got. Love to share it with other people too. But yeah, just working on new stand-up material recently. I don't know. I have to get into an open mic night. Some of the material is actually on the SoundCloud already in the shorter format episodes. But since, when I put those up, that was pretty much my initial thoughts as far as the jokes or whatever. So yeah, by the time you see them again, they'll be fully, fleshed out. At least by the time you see them on the show. If you see me in person, you'll get to see me while I work on it. So that'll be fun. And yeah, let me see. Oh yeah, I got a couple little stories for you. Just give me a second so I can make a little note here. So the very first time that I worked in like a high-end restaurant, uh, it was, I don't know, that was kind of interesting. Uh, I'd only ever worked at like Carrabba's. I worked in this bar for like a little bit, and I remember after leaving that job, I got a job working at this high-end restaurant as a server. When I got hired there, I applied with a girl I was dating at the time. Uh, but yeah, so we both got hired. Like, they had just opened like a month prior, so there's always a lot of turnover for brand new restaurants in Richmond. In the first couple months they're open, and this one was kind of a shit show while they were trying to get on their feet. So I was hired as a server. I did not have very much experience. I wasn't really a great server at that point. I barely knew like steps of service and stuff like that. At least not down to a science the way they had it there by the time I was actually serving. And I say that because I got fired like my first like Saturday night shift there. The entire kitchen was like on 50-minute tickets. And now I was a pretty good expo. And that was because when I was like 16 and 17 working at Carrabba's, I liked hanging out in the window. Like I worked the car side carryout for the phones. So I had the little pager on me. So I'd hang out in the expo window and help run food. And the owner, GM there, he he kind of taught me how to run the window because I was interested. So by the time I got to Max's, I knew what that looked like. I could do the thing. So yeah, I already knew that window was fucked up. Those, people's dinners weren't coming out for like 45 minutes after the order went in. So, I mean, they're an hour into their dinner still wondering where their food is, basically. And every table in the restaurant looks like that. But my section is right in front of the owner's wife. And she's starting to wonder why all my tables are so mad. So she asked the GM asked the chef, and the chef says, that's the server's fault. And I know for certain it's not my fault. I know what a window looks like when it's running right, and it's not right. So anyway, the GM goes back and tells the owner's wife, and after the shift is over, they tell me pretty much that they're going to fire me. Actually, not pretty much. They literally told me, like, yeah, I just don't think that this is for you here. So yeah. Then there's this manager there, right? This guy wears, a bow tie. He says, we don't need to fire him. Why don't we just have him run food? Most overqualified food runner ever, right? And I need this job. So obviously I do it other than being unemployed. And I mean, this is a cakewalk. I'm running the whole window. By the time what do you call him, an executive chef, I guess, he's between both places. This really well-known chef in Richmond named Carlos. This guy could kill it. He's still in there, but love that guy. But he saw that I could expo, and Carlos was also, quite the salesperson. It was important that he saw the clients in the restaurant, got to go by, handshakes. People wanted to see him there. So it was convenient to leave me running the window. It was great. And all just because of this bow tie guy, right? But that night when they tell me, we're going to make you a food runner. And I'm leaving and I'm thinking like, man, this fucking sucks. I'm not going to make any money. I'm screwed. And the manager who suggested that they make me a food runner instead of firing me, he's already outside smoking a cigarette. And I'm feeling bad, so I ask him, hey, can I get a cigarette from you? Something about the expression on his face that night. And I think I still even say this to him sometime. I don't know if he was incredibly fond of me. Still, I'm not certain if he was incredibly fond of me then. And I don't know, we just somehow along the way, we very slowly became like best friends. Like, he crashed at my place for a little bit. I crashed at his place for a little bit. Like, I don't know. When one of us is up, sometimes the other one's down, vice versa. But I don't know. We always seem to pick each other back up. And, it's nice to see him doing well while I'm doing well also. It starts, things start to really feel like they're coming together. So the first time I ever got it in my head that I should start a podcast was actually way sooner than I realized initially. Because this conversation from when I was a little kid, I wouldn't even say little kid. I was probably 11 or 12. And it was with my older cousin. He was a couple years older than me. I guess he still is. But yeah, so his parents, they were kind of like mine in the way that, after like a certain time of night, like 9:30, 10 o'clock, like, you got to turn off the PlayStation, stop watching TV, that kind of thing. And I would stay over at his house when my family would go up to Ohio. And he was really well behaved when by the time we were that age. And so he was pretty respectful of that. And like I think like once we like actually after like 45 minutes or an hour, we turned the TV on with no volume and the PlayStation was on, and then like his mom caught us and she was like obviously really upset about it, and I don't think we ever did that again, to be perfectly honest. uh Man, I don't think about that a lot. But yeah, so usually instead we'd just talk about like the craziest things. Like I remember once specifically we were talking about aliens and their presence on other planets and whether or not it's in this solar system. And I remember saying that I didn't rule out the possibility that they were in this solar system because it's maybe possible that we think of life as these flesh sacks, carbon based, with organs on the inside, and we walk around and speak to each other with words. But what if on Jupiter, a primarily gaseous planet, a different collection of various forms of elemental gases not found on Earth are instead able to somehow communicate with, other waveforms? And then, we wouldn't even know what we were looking for. Now, mind you, like, we weren't like smoking weed or anything. Like, we were still pretty young. We were before that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. This just popped into my head, like, talking about that. And I remember my sister had to explain to me what a podcast was. Because that was back when, your iPod was a separate thing from your flip phone. So, yeah, after she explained that to me, I remember the next time I had a conversation with him like that, we had just, I was just like, dude, what if we recorded these and put these online? And he was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then we never did it, ever. And now it's like, I mean, maybe it's blowing up now. Yeah, I think we can say that. It's like 1.5 million people watching Joe Rogan every day, and then another 500,000 or more watching Tim Pool every day. That's a significant portion of people just in those two podcasts. So yeah, it's pretty big now, I guess. All right, folks. That's our show today. Like I said, if you like the new show format, in general, pretend that I'm not doing this dumb shit here. Just, fill it up with maybe something else. Somebody writes in something funny or something cool, or somebody brings up a really good point, as a rebuttal to, to something I say. If you listen to those short clips, I say some really dumb shit or try and start some awkward conversations. And we're all here to learn. I can say that for everybody. I'm I'm the one holding the microphone, actually. I can say that for everybody. Yeah, civil discussions. Let's talk about stuff. We don't have to, even if you walk away and nobody changed their mind, both people walked away and had to learn about the other person's perspective. Or at least they should. Otherwise, if you're not going to change your mind, don't bother talking to people if you don't care to learn what they think or why they think a certain way at the very least. Just don't bother talking to them. That I'm not suggesting that that's a better answer. I'm just saying, like, it seems kind of childish. So anyway, off my soapbox. Sorry for that. Yeah, we're maybe fill this area up with some stuff like that. Be fun. We could all do this together. and or if there's anything you think would be on the show, or any do a ask me anything, anyway. But before I forget, just like I said, let me know in the poll on the Facebook or in the comments. But get ready for some music from Keenan Rayner. The song is Be Kind. I'll have some of his info in the description here, so you can look him up. You can look his music up. I'll throw his Spotify, SoundCloud link wherever he's streaming. And anyway, as always, thank you for listening. And this was Common Criminal Podcast. Thanks.